calf rubbing thing. I grew up on a horse farm, right? Uh-huh. And so Neil Smith was like, hey, you need to find something that's authentic to you and do it. Because, he was hitting home runs and all that stuff.
Yeah, he hit the home run.
So we started doing that, and it took off. And then, the league, I got a call I got called to the office on a Friday before we played Detroit. And Fraser's like, hey, I just got a call from the league that said you can't put your knee on the ground when you sack the quarterback anymore. I'm like, what?
What's up, everybody? It's LaVar Arrington here with another exciting episode of Up on Game Presents Conversations with a Legend. I got one amazing dude, a calf wrestling, tie him up, get him right, fella coming on this time around. My man, Jared Allen, one of the dopest football players, sack artists that played the game. Appreciate you coming on. First and foremost, how you been, man? How's the retired life going?
Oh, thanks for having me. Life's good. As you're probably wondering, what's the background noise and where am I going? That's what I do in retired life. I'm a glorified Uber driver.
That's right.
Between school, picking kids up, running kids for tests and lunch and programs and all that fun stuff. So retired life has been good, man. I tell you what, it was so that was what I wanted to do, right? To be able to spend as much time with the family, and my career has allowed me to do that. So it's been fun. I tell you what, just trying to have as much fun as possible and navigate this crazy world.
Now, you've always been that type of dude. Let me put this out there. Obviously, for those who may need reminding, Jared Allen from Dallas, Texas, went out to Idaho, and it ended up playing in Idaho. You get drafted by, I want to say it's the Vikings you went to, right? Kansas City.
Started with the Chiefs, yeah.
Kansas City. You finished with the Vikings. Or no, you didn't finish with the Vikings. Who did you finish with?
No, I finished with Carolina.
Finished with Carolina.
Yeah.
So you ended up in Kansas City, which I'm tripping. I know it's Kansas City. Played with the Vikings and ended up finishing elsewhere. I mean, it was an extraordinary career in Kansas City. It was just as extraordinary, which doesn't usually happen. It was just as extraordinary when you went to Minnesota and did what you did there. What, like, when you look at what you were able to accomplish in the era that you accomplished it in, no knocks against your quarterbacks back then, which would have been who would have been.
So for the Chiefs, I had Trent Green. And he got knocked out, so we had Damon Heward and then Brody Croyle. And then I went to Kansas City. We had Travaris Jackson, Gus Frerotte. Then Brett came, and then we had McNabb,
Minnesota.
And then we had McNabb and Christian Ponder. That's just two teams.
I mean, imagine the things you were doing, Jared, and that's, you just named a lot of quarterbacks because, well, none of them are Patrick Mahomes outside of obviously maybe, at the point in time that you played with Donovan, that's different. At the point in time you played with Brett, it was still pretty good, but that wasn't the Brett of Green Bay. If you have a Patrick Mahomes, I mean, what do you think your career would have been like sacks-wise getting those type of leads?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, it's kind of, I think it kind of shifts and goes, right? Like, I also didn't have to play against, Mahomes or Michael Vick every single week, like guys that are just that athletic, right? So I will just say, I came into the league when there were still 7-step drops, but I also argue that the offensive linemen I used to have to play against were 100 times better than the guys playing today. And that's no offense to the guys playing today. Just that era back to Willie Rofe, Willie Anderson, Walter Jones, Jonathan Ogden, Will Shields. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Orlando Pace. I mean, the game was just a different era. You got
Those are the greats.
Guys.
Those are the greatest ever.
Yeah, you got more athletic linemen now because the quarterbacks are so much more athletic, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine playing with a 14 to 21 point lead in every single game you play in?
No,
My run defense probably would have been crap because I didn't just rush the passer every down.
Well, that's all you would have had to do, right? Because they would have been having to throw the ball to try to catch up.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. And you ended up, I mean, what, you were like 60 sacks away. I want to say 60 plus, like 63, 64 sacks away from getting to 200.
Yeah, I ended up with 136, and that's it was a great number. My goal. So when I got into the league, Gunther Cunningham, God rest his soul, he basically told me that the only way you're worth your salt is if you can match up to Derrick Thomas, right? Because he loved Derrick Thomas, which is a tough thing to do, especially in Kansas City. So that's where I set my sights and my goal. I tried to do anything DT did, just bigger, better, and faster. And, DT was averaging close to 12 sacks a year for his career. So that's kind of what I measured my mark at.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my goal was to retire, with at least a 12 sack. I think I'm at 11.8 a year average or something like that. But that was always our goal, right? Is just chasing those guys. So yeah, I ended up with I wanted 150. I thought 150 was good.
All right.
I blew my L5 out my last 2 years. I blew my L5 out in Chicago, blew it out again in Carolina. So I settled for 136. What can you do? But yeah, it was. I got to pass DT though, so that was kind of one of those deals when I got to do that and shed a little tear. That dude was amazing.
He was amazing, and so were you. And one of the most memorable moments is when you retired. You jumped on the horse, you turned the horse around, and you rode out. Everybody ain't get to do it that way. You crushed it with your retirement. What went into that? Like, because I want to ask you about branding. You branded yourself so well. What went into your retirement announcement?
So you know what? Honestly, it was a whim. I got to give my wife all the credit for it. So I had, I was going to retire, and I knew I was retiring, and we were coming back from Carolina to Chicago to pack up the house and head back to our house in Arizona. And loading the trailer up, and of course I wouldn't hire a mover, so I was doing it myself. Loading up my trailer, dogs are barking. My wife was like, she's gonna go get a pedicure before we hit the road. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come with. She's like, I was like, I can't get a pedicure, babe. She's like, just let him massage your feet, right? So I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, this guy will die saying he never had a pedicure. I will go down with that ship. So I go, and we're sitting there, and my publicist, she texts me, hey, we should put something out because it's obviously going to be released tomorrow. Once you officially retire, someone will pick it up. You should be the one to put it out. So I was sitting there talking with a buddy, and we're heading to my buddy's farm in Iowa, and he's sending me pictures because it was storming in Illinois. He's sending me pictures. He's like, hey, man, look what you got to look forward to. It's beautiful. It's sunny here. It's nice. And we're like, oh, that's perfect. And we kind of were laughing. My wife's like, you should do like a Charlie Chaplin video. Don't say anything. We'll get there, grab the horse, and just ride off into the sunset and post that to your Twitter. Right? Right. I was like, that's pretty dope. So we drive like the Dickens to get there, and this storm follows us the entire way, right? Just nonstop. And I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So we get there. It's like literally wind's howling. It's like 15 below. It's cold. It's miserable. So hence I had to talk in it. But yeah, that's kind of how it went down. It was one of those things. We just happened to be heading that way. My wife came up with a great idea to ride off into the sunset. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And we happened to be going to my buddy's farm. And so we just snagged the horse and impromptu did it. And it became something, like I said, I don't really know how social media works. My wife handles 99.99% of all my social media. And so I'm getting all these texts like, dude, you're trending or you're viral. And I'm like,
were you ever? Were you ever?
And so, yeah, the next thing you know, everybody's telling me how great a video is. So I got to give my wife all the credit for it. But typical fashion, we just kind of, winged it, and it worked out.
Shouts out to the wife, because that might be the most gangsterist way of going out that I ever see take place, man. So shouts out to the missus. Let me transition into that branding branding is now being a conversation, has become a conversation that people are totally paying attention to now. You were branding yourself back then. You were branding when you made sacks. You took the calf down. You roped him up. They even banned it. You got so you were so known for it. But they even, it's like, God, you got too much going on. Whatever it is that they felt they need to do to ban it, I don't know why. But you were branding yourself. Were you aware that you were branding yourself, or what's your mindset on it?
Yes and no, right? Obviously, I was aware, and Tony Gonzalez, right? So Tony would never get in front of the camera unless he was dressed, hair done, would always never do an interview like impromptu, really, right? And he would always, he'd give me crap because I'd do him half naked, just whatever. And he was just like, this is how he always wanted to present himself. But that was Tony. Like that's Tony, right? Tony being Tony. So for me, it was authentic, but it was also intentional, right? So it was like, okay, yeah. So I knew what I was doing. And then, as you develop and your name gets bigger, then you're able to capitalize it monetarily, right? And so I think just there's more of a focus on it early in people's thing. I think kind of back in the day, it kind of created this authenticity, and the superstars or those certain players were able to brand themselves because of what they were doing on the field, and if they had a good personality. I think with social media these days, these kids are coming out of college thinking about branding and thinking about what they're putting out there, TikToks and all that nonsense. So I think it holds different, but obviously it's also a way to monetize your run, right? Everybody's got a short run, and you're able to monetize it. So I was just trying to have fun, but that's who I am. That is my brand, right? I'm going to have fun. I wanted, the fans to know that I love football. I was intense about what I did. I was intentional with my work. And so, yeah, man, it was just authentic, and the crowd picked up on it. The fans picked up on it. So we took advantage of it, and we had fun with it. So yeah, it was, like I said, it was never were we sitting around like, all right, what do we need to do to get the brand going? Yeah. It's just one of those things where I was able to be myself, and in the markets I played, the fans really gravitated to that. And so we were able to capitalize that. And then the calf rubbing thing, I grew up on a horse farm, right? Uh-huh. And so Neil Smith was like, hey, you need to find something that's authentic to you and do it. Because, he was hitting home runs and all that stuff. Yeah, he hit the home run. So we started doing that, and it took off. And then, the league, I got a call I got called to the office on a Friday before we played Detroit. And Frazier's like, hey, I just got a call from the league that said you can't put your knee on the ground when you sack the quarterback anymore. I'm like, what? So I have no clue why. Maybe it was because we were monetizing of it out. We were making our own separate brand outside of football. I don't know. They tried. So I just put my knee like this far off the ground. Right. As a big kiss my ass to the, to them. And we rolled with it. So that's that's kind of what we did, man. But yeah, like I said, we knew the brand was building, but it wasn't like we set out to build a brand. It wasn't like we were trying to create something. It was just authentic, and it's still authentic. And I think that's still why, even though I'm not that active on social, when we do put stuff out, we get a good response just because, down deep inside, I like to have fun. I like to help people. And I don't take myself too serious. Sure. Is there anything that you're up to these days? Do you still brand build, or is it just taking it light and stuff like that? How's that work? You know what? It's both, right? I think my brand is playing. Sorry, I'm over here moving. About to go grab my daughter. No worries. You're being authentic right now. This is authentic. Yeah, I love it. It's both, right? So, I use it as a way to keep connected with people, right? As far as what we're doing with my foundation. So we're obviously trying to, continue to build our brand or what's the name of the foundation? Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors. So we build handicap accessible homes for wounded vets all over the country. Awesome. And so we've been doing that since 2009. So, you try to do stuff like that to maintain your brand, sustain your brand. And then things through business, right? We have a restaurant we've had forever. Same thing there. Just trying to, you maintain that. I'm actually, in talks about partnering up with a PR marketing firm. So you do things like that, just extra expertise and, your Rolodex, and if you can help people from a media training standpoint. I think that's the problem. They try to put on a front, right? They try to create a persona in the media or however it is. Like you see guys talking, you hear the same lame thing. Like, we're going to go give 110%. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And you're like, just be yourself, right? And interact with the media. So as far as like personal brand building, not really. It's still it's maintaining the things we created years ago. And then, for me, just trying to, live the dream. Viva los sueños.
This is my last one, and I'm going to let you go grab your daughter. What's Jared Allen's legacy? What do you want your legacy to be known for? What the day you close your eyes and guys are coming up and they're standing up and they're talking about JA, what do they say? What would you love to hear them say?
Hopefully the first thing is that I was a great human being, a great man, a great father, husband. I hope people would know that I'm a man of faith off the bat. And that I cared more for others than I did myself. That's hopefully the legacy I work. And then that they recognize that, nothing was ever handed to me. It was, I try to teach my kids that no matter where you're at in life, success isn't about the end goal, right? Success is the mindset that you have to get to where you want to get to. It's not always mine either, right? And so that's what I teach my kids, right? To be good, to much is given, much is expected. And, that I was blessed beyond measure. And I tried to do the most that I could with it and give back as much as I could. So hopefully with my eyes closed and I meet my maker and he says, welcome home, good and faithful servant. Down here, people celebrate. Obviously, hopefully they're sad. Hopefully they're not celebrating I'm gone. Hopefully they're, but yeah, I think that's what it is, right? It's about, hopefully I gave more than I took. That's honestly the short answer.
That's awesome, bro. I appreciate you taking the time out and giving me some jewels. I do this so that I can put this out there and remind people of who we are as legends and of the game and what the history of the game represents. You're part of the historical fabric and obviously accomplishment of what our game represents. Love having you on, man, and I appreciate it. At some point, I'm gonna finish this up. I'm gonna circle back around. And my whole idea is to be able to market and brand us and help each other out and leveraging, monetizing us being able to help.
I agree. I think that's what the retirement, the Legends community could do, better. And everybody's so busy, and everybody came at different eras, but there's so many opportunities out there on every level. Sure that no one's left behind and to really dive into that. And to be honest, all of us probably do a better job of organizing across the globe.
That's right. As far as
community, because it's very localized and you get caught up and you don't really want to deal with your localized community. And then everybody's at different needs. So man, what you're doing is a great thing. And any way I can support it, you just let me know. Because I do know that's another thing, I think, we don't really pay attention to when we were playing is we're all going to be retired one day.
That's
and everybody coming after us is going to make more than we made. And some guys made nothing and they're still holding on, but they laid the framework for us to allow I know guys that, when they struck in the 80s, a lot of guys like us to be able to sit back, enjoy our retirements and our families. So, constantly doing whatever we can do to pay it forward to them as well.
Indeed. Jared Allen, everyone. Jared Allen.
Hey, and congrats again, dude. College Football Hall of Fame.
Thanks.
Go your entire ballot. That was an insane ballot. And you went in with my buddy Boomer, fellow 1AA guys. So, hey, congrats, man.
Thank you. So I'm sure I'll be giving you a congrats soon too on that big boy. So
we'll see.
Good luck. You're gonna get it. Good luck to you. I look forward to being able to showing this and put your story out there as great things continue to happen for you and to you. Jared Allen, everyone. Conversations with a Legend, Up On Game presents. It's been another exciting edition. I'm going to let him go get his daughter now so that they can get home and do what they need to do. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, have a good one. Take care.
You too. God bless, bro.